Good evening, televiewers. Welcome to the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinox Television. In our top stories, Buea Central Prison in the southwest region of Cameroon goes wide today, July 23rd, 2019. Inmates go on rampage, clashing with the prison administrative authorities, and gunshots were fired in the air and stones used by the angry detainees as weapons. What provoked the tension in the Buea Central Prison? Find out in this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast. And equally, Barrister Ayapol Abine describes Cameroon's justice system as a complete mess, as persons are arbitrarily arrested, detained for years without charges and trial. He also says it is because of fear nursed by some judges who have decided to dance to the rhythm of the drums played by the Bia regime. And equally, the sacked councillor of the Buea Council, Chief Nje Mandenge, says he regrets ever working with Patrick Ekema, who has no vision. He says he had no obligation to engage in the march past activities that was stationed in Buea, chieftain of the Southwest region, on May 20th. More in this edition of the 6 p.m. newscast. Once again, good evening to you. Welcome. This is the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinox Television. We begin with tension at the Yaoundé Central Prison that was yesterday was staged by detainees of the Anglophone crisis. Most of them demanded that they should be released, and equally advanced that the international community needs to know how they are suffering. We have details or roundup of the incidents which took place at the Yaoundé Maximum Security Prison with Fomi Armstrong Sander. We'll be reporting about the prisoners at the Yaoundé Central Prison in Yaoundé who went on rampage. Detainees of the Anglophone crisis, they yesterday since morning went on rampage with those of the CRM political parties, calling for their immediate release. And equally, according to the detainees of the Anglophone crisis, it was an opportunity to show to the international community the sufferings they have been enduring at the maximum detention facility in Yaoundé. We have run up of this, of what happened at the Konengi Maximum Security Prison with Fomi Armstrong Sander.
All began in the early hours of Monday, July 22nd, 2019. When detainees of the Anglophone crisis went highway, demanding their release, chanting the Amazonian anthem and other disturbing declarations under the watchful eyes of the helpless prison authorities. The Anglophone detainees called for a ceasefire in the northwest and southwest regions, demanding all parties to come to the negotiating table. On their placards were messages like "Free all arrested, Donald Trump come to our rescue." The Anglophone detainees were later joined in the protest by detainees like those of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party, decrying the very poor detention conditions at the Yaoundé Kondenge prison, long detention conditions without trial, torture in the hands of prison administrators. Amnesty International in 2011 said detention conditions at the Kondenge Maximum Security Prison were harsh. The Kondengi angry prisoners broke into the VIP section of the facility, attacked and wounded several other inmates, including former PM Chief Ephraim Inoni and Uben Olangena Owona, former Minister of Public Health. The riot intensified, provoking the burning of the Kondenge prison library. The few prison guards in charge of the about 9,500 inmates overcrowded Yaoundé Kondenge prison called for backup from the special unit of the National Gendarmerie and the police. The arrival of the special forces, according to Yaoundé neighborhood inhabitants, was accompanied by gunshots heard within the prison premises, which brought the situation under control. Some of the detainees have been transferred to the special operating unit of the police in Yaoundé, and the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party says its first national vice president, himself detained at the Yaoundé Kondenge prison, is missing.
And some of the detainees at the Yaoundé Central Prison who went on protest yesterday equally are calling for a complete ceasefire in the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon, and equally that the government should create a peaceful atmosphere such that schools could resume across Anglophone Cameroon. Take a listen to them.
Prisoners of war are asking the Biafran government to release us now because the war is killing our people. We are dying. We want the ceasefire now. We want the ceasefire now. Second thing, we don't want any schools to contract without a ceasefire. Third thing, we want all everybody who is fighting to come to the table and discuss. We don't want this war anymore. It's killing our people. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
And in a crisis meeting held by the senior divisional officer of the Funzi, Jean-Claude Silla, findings on the damages caused by the fire and riot incident last night in the Kondenge Central Prison in the night were presented, and 4 persons sustained minor injuries in the Kosovo quarters. 2 prisoners of the Operation Sparrow Hawk sustained injuries on the heads. They are Efremenoni and equally Olang Ngena Awono, who were later evacuated to a medical center. Regarding the infrastructural damage, several buildings were destroyed. The library razed, tailoring hall and other destroyed. Many other buildings were ransacked with money disappearing. Over 40 mobile phones were seized as a result. And now we tell you how the Boya Central Prison equally witnessed similar tension today in the southwest region of the country. The inmates went on rampage and clashed with administrative or the prison authorities, and the gunshots were heard with the angry detainees using stones as weapons against the prison administrative authorities. What provoked this tension in the Boya Central Prison? Derry Jotto was there and tells us.
That is the Boya Central Prison, where you're seeing smoke coming out. We don't know what is going on, but I've been made to understand that the inmates down here at the Boya Central Prison have been agitating for some hours now, and it is going wild down here. They are shooting stones, and the security forces seem as if they're also responding with tear gas. We are getting sound. We don't know whether it's live ammunition or tear gas, but that's the situation. Chaos, total chaos. If you could get right far behind me here, they are shooting stones. The reason for the agitation is what we are yet to find out. Derek Jack to Equinox Television News.
And that's the situation this day at the Buea Central Prison in the southwest region of Cameroon today. And it is a prison that was initially constructed to host 400 inmates that now hosts over 1,000. And most of them have been complaining of deplorable living conditions. And now regarding the continuous and arbitrary arrest and detention of Cameroonians in prisons across Cameroon, Barrister Ayapola Bine has described the justice system of Cameroon as a mess, as judges now dance to the rhythm of the drums played by the Biya regime instead of protecting Cameroonians. Take a listen to him.
Barrister Ayapola Bine, are you backing the opinion that the arrest and detention of Professor Maurice Kamto and the allies of the CRM political party and the militants, of course, are illegal? Is that what you're saying?
They are not illegal. They are completely illegal. If you say illegal, it's not strong enough. Completely illegal. My problem was because of BAP. They saw how we're coming with force. They are proceeding against Kamto and the other people because they want to prevent them from taking part in the next elections. That's all. They have committed no crime. At least the Constitution says they must prove. For now, they are presumed innocent. And all the facts I read on papers, on the social media, are not facts. Those are rumors. They are not even allegations. When in 1992, Frundi said he won the election, did they arrest him? Those are things that are permitted in political arena. This is what they call political bluff. To fight a system like that of Cameroon, where everything is fraud. I said in 2011 that if they conducted proper election in Cameroon, Mr. Biya will not get 20%. So to fight against the permanent fraud, it's only normal that somebody should say, from what I have, I've won. We won, my party won the Acquire Council. Issa Chiroma even announced it. How did CPDM come and take over the council? In 2013, I mean, we won, my party won the Acquire Council, and as I've said, Mr. Issa Chiroma announced it. Cameroon, by its own volition, it was a voluntary act, joined international organizations, African Union, United Nations. It means that when you are not satisfied here, you can go abroad. In Cameroon, what you call Constitutional Council is a mess, more than just a mess. How do you imagine that a member of the Constitutional Council goes down to the National Commission for the final counting of votes, and then after that, he does everything, then comes and sits in the Constitutional Council? Can you tell me anywhere in the world where you take a judgment and then you sit on appeal on your own judgment? So what is called Constitutional Council? Where we seen judges taking decisions without fear. Everybody is afraid. If they put me in that place, they could go there and shoot me on, while presiding. I would not take any rubbish, because my oath obliges me to take a decision without fear. But in Cameroon here, he was on retirement. They went and brought him, say, come and do us this job. You don't expect a man like that to take an independent decision. Look, when I was in detention, only one had the courage to visit me. I was released on the 31st of August 2017. Up to this moment I'm talking, only one judge has had the courage to visit me. You call those people judges? Everybody is afraid because Mr. Biya is the president of the Judicial Council. He will not promote them. He will not appoint them to, you know.
Barrister Ayapol had been talking there. That was on the program La Verite on Fast on Equinox Television. And now it was a ghost day in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon today, as the Ambazonian leaders were due to appear in court for another hearing. Unfortunately, the court case that was to begin at 11 a.m. did not take place. It was adjourned to Monday, the 29th of July 2019, as the detainees did not show up at the military court. This reason for the adjournment was posted on the notice boards of the court. Similar to this, over 100 detainees at the Boya Central Prison who were to appear at the military tribunal today refused going to court, and the lawyer whose 15 clients were supposed to be in court reported the inmates were nowhere to be found, and later resulted to the tension that was reported at the Boya Central Prison this morning. And now, South Councillor of the Boya Council, Chief Nje Mandenge, says he regrets ever working with Patrick Ekema, who has no vision. He says Patrick Ekema had no rights to order him to take part in the May the 20th celebration. Details in this report compiled by Derek Jato.
Chief Nje Mandenge shows no remorse for his action that led to his dismissal as councillor of the Boya Council.
There is no way traditional rulers could have been given marching orders to attend or participate in 20th May activities. Even in France, where I also lived for close to 9 years, 14th July, which is their national day, has nothing to do with the civilian population. It is a purely military ceremony.
Instead, he says he is regretting for ever working with Mayor Ekema Patrick Esunge, the mayor of the Boya Council.
I regret personally to have been part of that whole nasty scheme of putting a leader who has no vision.
At this Boya Council session recently, Mayor Ekema Patrick Esunge came up with a motion for Chief Nje Mandenge to be dismissed, and this was the councillor's crime per the mayor of Boya Council.
SWEP once more calls and reminds their peers to scrupulously respect the call for a total boycott of this year's National Day celebrations as a sign of our indignation and discontent. Signed, His Royal Majesty Nje Mandenge, Chargé de Mission SWEP Secretary General FACO Chiefs Conference. Do you want any other proof?
Lord Mayor, I wonder if that's a proof. I've not seen it.
Pardon?
You've just read it.
Yeah, you don't need to see it. I know you people are related. You don't need to go so deep on that. Somebody says if people should boycott National Day. Madam Etonde, let us be very, very sincere to what we are doing here. You cannot say that you don't know what happened during 20th of May. All of us, there's nobody here who should pretend to say we were ignorant about what happened. Mandenge propagated that chiefs should boycott a National Day. A National Day is not an Okala Day, it's not a Kima Day. Whether he's signed as a chief or not, he's a councillor.
After a heated debate, during which observers say it was a demonstration of democracy, power, interest and influence, the mayor's motion was finally seconded and Chief Nje Mandenge was sacked. Responding, the traditional ruler of Wunja village told Equinox Television that it is a non-event.
I don't expect any consequence. For me, it's a non-event.
To Chief Nje Mandenge, there is good news for Boya. Rescue is coming to put things back on rails.
Boya, I promise you will be rescued in the next couple of months.
Mayor Ekema Patrick Esunge at the session said all his actions are just.
There's a provision in the law there.
For the goal is to make Boya great again.
The Minister of Public Contracts has instructed road construction companies in the far north region of the country to respect deadline and deliver their projects. He was speaking during an inspection visit he made recently in the far north region of Cameroon. Details with Smanjikan Gabriel.
The production of construction aggregates is the main problem faced by construction companies charged with the rehabilitation and construction of roads in the far north region. This was the major issue dropped on the table of Emmanuel Ganun-Jumesi, Minister of Public Works, who was in the far north region to supervise major roads under construction in Marwa. As he touched down at the airport, Emmanuel Ganun-Jumesi was much concerned with the Mora Dabanga Kuseri Highway, which is being done by the military engineering unit. Emmanuel Ganun-Jumesi appreciated the mobilization in both material and human resources that the military engineering unit has deployed, and also the thickness of the tar on the roads. Even though the road is steadily getting a new phase, delays have been observed.
We have a 33% of advancement, and we wish that until February 2020 we are going to finish the work, entirely the work. Apart from visiting the different roads which are under construction, highlights of Emmanuel Ganun-Jumesi's stay in the far north also included an evaluation meeting at each construction site. The government is expected to receive the Mora, Dabanga and Kuseri roads by February 2020.
We take you to an enclaved locality, Pombe, that is in the center, at the center of the Nyongankele, or center of Eseka in the Nyongankele division of the central region of Cameroon, where the inhabitants are complaining of a lack of potable water, accessible roads, and equally good health facilities, and equally schools to enhance the education of the children in that locality. Details in this report.
Pombe is first and foremost an enclaved quarter in the heart of Eseka, Nyongankele division of the central region, with a controversial history. Pombe, inhabitants say, seems cut off from the rest of Eseka town as a result of poor seasonal roads, which are inaccessible during the rainy season.
La route au quartier Pombe, nous avons le problème de route parce que il n'y a pas de canalisation.
Once in quartier Pombe, the first thing to be noticed is this vast area of land devastated by the people in search of gold.
Partout l'or a été creusé, il y avait.
The quarterhead views these deep pits, some covered by water, as a death trap to children.
On ne sait pas à quel sens se vouer.
This local activity, which has existed for over a year now, has had irreversible consequences on the unique water source which serves all of Pombe and other surrounding vicinities.
Et quand vous regardez derrière moi, vous voyez que vous-même vous constatez, c'est pas à moi de dire, vous-même vous le voyez, le constat est amer.
Also contributing to the pollution of this reliable source of water is the heap of earth piled up along the railway line uphill by Camwile agents, which is washed down the stream during rainfall. In this communique, the quarterhead talks of informing the Camwile officials, but no action has been taken to get rid of the soil which constantly pollutes the stream. Still in Pombe are schools without modern infrastructures, like this primary school, which is even bilingual.
Des bancs que nous avons nous-mêmes fabriqués, et les tableaux. Ça fait 3 salles de classe ici, comme vous voyez les tableaux. Class 1, class 2.
Since the creation of this school in 2016, government has assisted by sending 2 anglophone teachers,
plus la directrice et une maîtresse des parents d'élèves qui est à la charge de l'APE.
Still living in absolute enclavement, the population of Pombe are hoping
One day, they will see good roads constructed, pipe-borne water supplied in the quarter, schools and hospitals with modern structures constructed and equipped for improved living standards. And the board chair of the University of Ngaoundéré in the Adamawa region of Cameroon has been installed into his functions by the Minister of Higher Education, Professor Jacques Fandongo. He instructed him to be hardworking and pilot affairs of the institution to the positive light. Hemini Luga has more.
I'm proud to present to you the new chairman of the board of directors of the University of Ngaoundéré.
Appointed by presidential decree this July 2019, Mr. Abubakar arrives at a moment to quickly work on files seeking solutions to the problem of the budget of the institution. Minister Jacques Fandongo made some of these points clear while evoking the administrative responsibilities of the newly installed. I invite you to be particularly attentive and creative with regards to the university's evolution. Worthy to note, the 42nd ordinary session of the Board of Directors of the university held last month, as it saw the adoption of the management account returned for lack of financial records, a situation that suggests the existence of a misunderstanding between the rector and the financial services of the institution. Without leaving out the alleged story on missing presidential laptops, which are normally destined to students of the university. Highly attended by dignitaries and state administrators, the installation ceremony as well witnessed the presence of family members.
And that's it for this 6 p.m. bilingual or 6 p.m. newscast on Equinox Television. Thanks so much for watching. Tomorrow is another day. Do have a nice evening.